Pin Radio, place where average veterans come to share their opinions of the world we live in. We can't guarantee you're going to like our opinions.
But we promise we're going to enjoy giving them to you.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Mike. Let's pull the pin.
All right. What are we pulling the pin on?
It's not that recent, but there was an officer involved shooting where the officer was shot and killed by a suspect.
And be more specific, right? These happen. Huh? These things happen.
Oh yeah.
Probably more frequently than we know.
But no, he was shot and killed, and a lot of people were criticizing him for the way he did the traffic stop. And I don't know. It's easy to do. Hindsight's always 20/20. Monday morning quarterback type trash. But once again, this is something you're not seeing in national media. And being the fellow law enforcement officials that we are, I think we need to talk about it.
Yeah, and maybe you can give a little more detail on some of the specifics, because we're not going to show this video. I mean, it's out there. I can watch it. I just can't. I don't like watching this stuff. Even to anybody. I mean, even anybody dying. But this is a little too, I don't know, senseless to me. But
his name was Officer Darian Jarrott, like Jarrott.
Jarrott.
Yeah, Jarrott. Yeah. And I think it was New Mexico, right?
Yeah.
He did a traffic stop and told the guy to get out. He saw the firearm, and things went south once the guy exited the vehicle. It wasn't good. Like I say, things could have been done differently. I don't know.
Sure.
Could have had the same outcome. So.
Well, what prompted this was, I think you said something. There was his wife is now suing or something. Saying,
she's saying wrongful death.
Set up, not necessarily set up in the sense of set up, but he was told to go after a vehicle or something from the Department of Homeland Security, but wasn't given the information.
Yeah. It's like I think it was like Border Patrol or Homeland Security. Someone asked him to do a traffic stop, and he did it, and he didn't know the guy had some warrants. Put it that way.
Or weapons too.
Yeah.
And drugs. I think there was something in there too. They said.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he didn't have all the details. That's what she's saying.
Right.
He didn't have all the details, so it was a setup. And
well, setup's a harsh word, because that could be taken like they meant to do it.
Yeah. So, and she's upset. So the words she chooses to use, I'll accept them.
Sure.
Just for knowing how upset she is and what she's going through. But what I wanted to say was that I've always had a problem with this. How, let's call it, higher agencies ask for assistance from lower agencies or the patrol officers,
right.
but they don't give them all the details.
Right. Like, you're too low to know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're all in law enforcement together, but I'm not allowed to know the specifics because of whatever. Now, if it's something dealing within our department or something like that, I say, okay, I got it.
Right.
But it's a criminal. Come on, man.
Right.
Should he have had all the information? Yeah, and I'm a little biased because there's something that I used to hate, and I didn't like working with those agencies. I did it when told to, but no.
Yeah, what do they call it? Officer assist or something?
Yes. Oh man, I forget the code or slang term.
It might have been different in the department, anyways.
Yeah, but that's what we know it as. Yeah.
Right. And that's like a shame too, because he should know, like, that's important information.
Yeah.
But when I watched the video, and I think I heard him say something like, you pulled him over for his tinted windows.
Yeah.
So that kind of confused me. According to her claim, is that it was for the Homeland Security and they didn't give him all this information.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't hear anything in there that says I found the vehicle or we're officers.
Right.
It sounded like a regular traffic stop for tinted windows.
Yeah.
So I don't know where she's getting the claim from, and I didn't really dig deep enough. I was kind of just floored by the video itself. And even if it was true, so that could be some some problems, I guess you could say, with the practice of those Homeland Security, like you were saying.
Yeah.
It could be clearly a problem. That was a problem right off the get-go. If they did know that, if this is true and they did know and didn't tell them, that's huge.
Yeah, that's very huge.
And then you pointed out his tactics. I mean, obviously we don't want to, badger on a man who's deceased because of his tactics. And I think at some point he even asked the guy if he had a sidearm
Yeah.
and asked him to take it out. He politely asked, "Hey, can you put it down?" And he said, "Come back to my vehicle."
Mm-hmm.
I personally, I know officers do this because I don't know. Did you do this too with the walking up to the passenger side
Yeah.
instead of the driver's side?
Yeah.
There's always
Well.
been different tactics out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but I think when you're asking someone to exit a vehicle, you don't want to ask them to exit from the opposite side you're on. Like I
Right.
think at
Right.
that
For that
point you
reason.
change the tactic. You don't, you tell them, "Hey, okay, sit tight. I'll be right back with you." In fact, once he had a sidearm, you tell him to sit tight. I'll be right back with you. You go
Yeah.
to your car.
Yeah.
Story's over right there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ask him to get out knowing he's already armed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can't see him. You don't have eyes on him. Not that I'm saying any officer deserved any of this stuff, but that's a good lesson right there in itself. Like
Yeah.
that was dangerous to me right off the get-go.
Yeah. And then if he had more information about the guy, maybe he wouldn't have done that. Let him get out on the opposite side.
Well, let's be real.
You know what I mean?
If you
Yeah.
knew what you knew, I wouldn't have been doing that on my own anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have initiated a traffic stop and I would have sat there waiting for the vehicles to come back up
Yep.
to get there.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty darn simple to me. I don't know why, and I would say, well, maybe it's New Mexico, maybe he's alone, maybe there's not many, but at the end of the video when the truck pulled off, I saw a police car drive by
Yeah.
and what looked like two white Suburbans, which I don't know what they were, but they were traveling side by side.
Right.
So I had to believe they might have been law enforcement.
Right.
So obviously police weren't too far away. Backup wasn't too far away.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yourself, even if it's your department, you can always get assistance from other departments.
Yeah. Just like
And,
allegedly he was doing.
right. And what you saw, you think you spoke on it, the guys that came and showed up to help and render aid, which is obviously too late, you said that was Border Patrol.
Yeah.
So obviously there were plenty of law enforcement officers within the vicinity that he didn't even
Yeah.
have to get out of his car.
Yeah.
He could, the truck pulled over. He could have just sat there or even got a speaker say, "Please stand by," whatever.
Yeah. I think that would have been worse though.
Well, the guy could
Just
have
knowing now.
he
Yeah.
could have popped in reverse and
Yeah.
backed out of there.
Yeah. That's true.
You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
There's many more positions he could have taken,
Right.
knowing, even if he didn't know what he was dealing with, the guy getting out with an AR style weapon, he should have saw that,
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I
I think
the
it's sad that
tactics-
the tactics was obviously not the best, but that's beside the point. Like we talked about already. But once again, here's another incident that doesn't hit national media, and I have a
Right.
problem with it because it doesn't fit the narrative that they like to push.
Sure, right.
You know, it just shows that this guy's out there, life on the line, literally, and he paid the ultimate price.
Yeah.
But in this case, if it is, which the allegations are true, I think needs to be a lot more professional courtesy when asking
Mhm.
for assistance.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
But we don't know the inside baseball of that. We can speculate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we can
Like
speculate.
I say, and
all day
I
long.
don't mind speculating because it's something near and dear to my heart.
Right.
You know?
Which is what I'm saying. Like if I want to be fully accountable, I could speculate and say, hey, the departments that asked for assistance weren't supporting. Like I can make all those things. But at the end of the day, even if I knew or didn't know, I mean, there's still ways they could have handled that. He
Yeah.
could have handled that a lot better for his own safety, even.
Yep.
I just think once he identified the weapon, it's time to draw your gun out. Even if the guy's cooperating, you can hold it to low ready, and you back away from that.
Nah.
Or you tell him to get out of the car with his hands up where you can see them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You do something. Or he could have went around the front of the vehicle and reapproached, but then the door would have been in the way. I don't know. I mean, I can.
It's like you said. Yeah, we can always do that, but I think he would have, if he had more information, most likely he would have responded differently.
Sure. I
Yeah.
have to assume that if he had known that scenario, but like I said, once again, anytime you see a gun's involved, I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's tough. It's a tough call because he probably thought once the gun was on the seat that there was no threat.
Right.
He didn't think he was going to pull out a second weapon.
Right.
But that's what they talk about. They talk about complacency. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
also, and it's interesting because these are things that should be on the media because these are the things that kind of explain why these other shootings happen. Because that officer got complacent and lost his life. Now, had he not been complacent, he might have made a mistake and shot the guy thinking the guy got out with another weapon. You know,
Right.
let's just say the guy had a cell phone in his hand. He could have made the mistake easily because he's still on high alert.
Yeah, but when that happens, what do people say?
That's my
They-
point. My
yeah.
point is this is the extreme opposite of what could have happened the other way. So there
Right.
has to be some sort of balance in this, and people have to
Yeah,
understand
but
this is not
what
an
do
easy
people
task.
say though? People always say they need more training.
Sure, and
They need
I'm
more
not going to even
training.
argue that.
Yeah, they need more
Right.
training. They need more training. You know, sometimes, and I don't know. I never liked the one person patrols. Maybe it's in small towns and cities, that's okay, but in certain
Right.
areas, I'm like, nah. They need to go back to two-person patrols, man.
Well,
But then money comes into the picture.
sure, and also you can even make an argument that look at all the law enforcement around there.
Yeah.
So ideally, if you're a sheriff and you know border patrol is just right across the street or always passing by, like
Mm-hmm.
there should be a lot more cooperation there.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? And even if it's stupid, like, if you got a traffic stop, we used to do that even out of district or whatever. If there was nobody doing a roll by, for backup assistance, we would go from wherever. That was a
Right.
priority. If somebody was doing a traffic stop, another car must roll on that scene at some
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
So even if it's
Do a
just to pass
nice,
by
slow
and you hit
pass
the
by.
code
That's it.
4 or whatever,
Yep.
you know. So yeah. So I don't know what happens there because those are border towns and border states.
Right.
But, yeah, there's a lot of things right there that just rub me raw. But really, what really bothers me is just the amount of evil that must be in a man's heart
Yeah.
to do that to somebody else.
Yeah. Sick. I think we talked about this on previous episodes where
Yeah, I
that
mean,
he has a mental condition, and I'm not saying he's dead, but I'm not saying that he should have got over, put him in a psych ward or something like that. I'm just saying these people are mentally ill and they're
yeah, just to
taking
be able to
taking lives.
taking a life just like that, and like, and it wasn't like he was under any threat. Maybe
Right.
he had a perceived threat of prison time, getting
Yeah.
busted, and he was scared of doing that. But that's a forward-thinking threat. That wasn't an immediate threat.
Right. And obviously he was on the run from something or someone or some
Right.
people, you know?
Yeah. And he's
So
probably killed before.
yeah. Yep.
Because I don't know who in their right mind could just do that to somebody. And I mean, even
Yeah.
if you watch the video, the end part, the double, the make sure, like, you just
Yeah.
shot the dude like how many times, and then you had to walk up to make sure,
Yeah.
like, and you're on camera too. Like, you haven't
Hmm.
done that, right?
Yep.
So what kind of person? I mean, that scares me. I mean, not from the, you know what I mean, for
Yeah.
humanity's sake, that there are people out there like that.
Oh yeah. But with the background we have, we know that.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is something to me that would be a focus of, and then this could open up a whole nother can of worms too. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Is he illegal? Is he not? I mean, could this make an argument for another talking point on the media?
Yeah.
Maybe
Did
that's
they
what the
say
white
his
guy was
name?
using. I don't remember.
I
I
don't
don't
remember
remember
if
if they
they.
said,
Yeah.
because in the end, we do see him getting taken down by the police. Cueva, is that? No, wait, it says Officer Herrera, and it made return fire towards Cueva, who was struck several times by gunfire.
Okay.
So Cueva was eventually stopped. Pursuit taking matter. Exit picket firearm rounds. I don't see much to talk about who this Cueva guy is. He died from his injuries on scene. Like, I don't see much about it. But I mean, like, even that, I would thought that would have been something that would have been important for a narrative, right?
Right.
Because Cueva's obviously, it's not an American name, but it doesn't mean he couldn't be an American, that's for sure. But wouldn't we want to know those things? Or aren't those adjectives important anymore?
Mm-hmm.
And the cop race wasn't important. What I mean? It's just amazing how the story shifts and the priority shifts when you can't use those things in your favor of a narrative or something. It's just amazing. So
Yeah. Sad. Lost another one.
yeah, my heart goes out to the family has to watch that stuff. And I mean, gosh,
Yeah.
even to see that the bad guy got killed, like, that to me is I don't like that either. You know what I mean? I don't like that because I think he could have served more punishment alive. You know what I mean? Why? That's an easy way out for him. I think he should have spent his life in jail and dealt with that. So to me, that's more suffering than just being taken out. No, you don't want that? You don't like that?
You ready to pull the pin?
Well, it's called punishment for a reason. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Ready to pull the pin on that one?
Yeah, it's a human instinct. It's human, but I just don't. I don't know. Killing people to me is just not even. It's really not. I don't. It's a whole nother conversation, which they can go forever. It's like I'm not even for the death penalty anymore because I don't believe in it anymore. I don't think we have the authority to kill people. I just don't think it's all right.
Understood.
Even if you want to.
Understood.
Even if it's an eye for an eye or whatever basis you're going to stand it on, I think we have a system for that, and I think it'll work out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
No. No.
Normally I stand with you, man, but
well, I mean, in the heat of the moment, you have the authority to. You know what I mean? But preferably, I'd rather see a guy pay his time for the crime he did, rather than just, the ultimate price, I guess you could say, is his life. But there's no payment there. There's payment to the family. He lost his life, but what was he doing anyway?
No matter what the punishment is, the family's never going to be satisfied.
Sure. Right.
You know
That's something we can't control.
Exactly.
We can control taking another man's life in the sake of it.
Yeah.
So, unless he gave them no choice, which he did, obviously. He shot the police. He gave them no choice. So I'm not even saying it's not justified. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm just saying, ideally, that's why police are taught to apprehend or eliminate the threat, not to kill.
Right.
They don't get to serve as the judge and jury. So even the principals there, they have the authority to take a life, but they have to follow parameters. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you? For a man who doesn't own a gun, you feel very strongly about this.
No, is what I always say. People inject themselves into the storyline, right? Mm-hmm. And when I do that in this case, yeah, okay, yeah. I'm lying there. I'm like, take his ass out.
Well, I mean, like, and then there's no doubt. I'm not sitting here trying to pretend that I'm not thinking that.
Right.
I'm just trying to bring up a debatable point on whether we should be doing that. Whether it's a human nature to be like, we need to take this guy out. Like, I'm not saying we need to stop the threat or eliminate the threat. That's taught. That's what we do. There's no question in my mind. That's what you do. But at the point I'm saying is, like, if you take it to the point where you're literally looking to kill this guy for what he did, then you're no different than the Chauvin and all that stuff. You're no different. No matter who he killed.
Right.
You know what I mean? You shouldn't be acting in violence yourself to get revenge or anything like that. That's not what you do. Protect and serve, right?
Right. Protect and serve. Yep.
Yeah. So protect from the threat, stop the threat, and if he dies in the process because that's the training, then that's what happens.
Serve justice. Yes, sir. I had to take the other side. I'd have loved to have been
your partner.
Hardly ever pulled out my firearm, though.
Mike, that 12-year-old threw bubble gum on the ground. I don't care. I'm whooping his ass.
I ain't know it was bubble gum. No.
That reminds me of the old Army bubble gum joke.
Uh-oh.
You don't know those? You ever had a guy do that?
No.
It was pretty popular for that. Remember I can't remember his name. Darn it. Big white dude, was goofy as hell. Big kind of round guy. Not the one that was in my... He used to do it all the time. Every time I pull up in a patrol car, he'd be like, dude, I got bubblegum all over my BDUs. And he was pulling out, right?
Yeah.
He's pulling out that sack down there that would look like skin. It was like, he was pulling his little sack out there, his little hole there, saying it was bubblegum.
Oh, man.
It was... Look,
had a good show, Jim.
That's why. But that's why you got to be thick-skinned in the military. That's why, because all that stuff is like dark humor stuff that.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, that's why we're able to even watch these videos. Like, I can't stand watching people get killed. Period. No matter what, who they are. I don't like watching.
I understand.
But we do have to train our minds to be, a little distant from what's actually happening.
Absolutely.
So that's where the dark humor comes in. That's where things like that probably aren't funny to the general population. Probably nobody watching this laugh, unless there's a military guy.
Yeah.
Because he gets it. But yeah. So
I'm military. I still didn't get it, but I don't want to change this into a bubblegum
Well, that's
joke.
because yours don't look like bubblegum.
Oh, got
I
it.
mean, I don't know
Okay.
that personally. Like,
Yeah.
don't get any ideas here. I don't personally know that. I'm going to go under the assumption.
You ready to pull the pin on that one, Jim?
I'm going to pull it. Yeah, I should have pulled it 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
Got it. Yes, I got it. We're pulling it 5 minutes ago. All right. So then we'll go into our favorite segment, the pull the pin, or our person of the week, or just a general shout out. And you look like you're ready to say something. You got something?
No, I'll let you go. I'll take you take lead on this one.
All right, because I do have something, because we just recently talked about it. Matter of fact, we had a whole entire episode about this. Apparently, the Senate just approved a bill that would make Juneteenth a federal holiday.
Wow.
Yep, they must have watched our episode. That's all I
I think so.
Yeah, they must have. I'm sure one of these guys was watching our episode and was like, damn, we
Lily.
got to do that.
Lily Thur. Lily Thur. Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably knows somebody, or
Yeah.
maybe she is. Maybe that's her alias.
Mm-hmm.
And just to go back on that, after we did that episode, I did go back and look, and it's a female's picture. I didn't mean to slight anybody, so I just, like I said, I don't want to assume anything, because I know people, their gamer tags and things like that, they just put.
Pull the pin, Jim.
Yeah. Diarrhea of the mouth today. I don't know what's going on. I
Just
can't
pull the
help
pin.
it. I can't stop.
Pull the pin, Jim.
All right, Mike, you could go. That's why I got you here.
Whew. I wanted to pull the pin today on just general employees. I had a conversation with a guy today who was doing an audit, and we were talking about just general conversations with employees. And I said, there's one thing I always try to do, and I always try to remember when I interviewed for the job that I'm in, and how hungry I was, how motivated I was, determined to do the best job that I possibly can. And I said, I wish more people were like that, because the standard that I'm seeing is people are like that. And then when they get the position, it starts to go downhill from there, generally speaking. I just wish more people would remember the day when they were looking for a job or interviewing for a certain job, position, whatever, and keep that hunger and that dedication, that motivation. Keep it going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
And I think that's the main problem in our communities today. One of the main problems.
Right?
Yeah.
And even to tap on that, and you're talking about government workers who can't be fired. It's even worse.
Yeah.
It's worse because they know they're in this blanket of protection. It's not just government too, but I mean, I worked for Verizon. I'm not going to sell them out too bad, but I remember being there, and this is the not wireless. This is the actual fiber or whatever. And I remember they had the union, and they were going in for 12-year tenure.
Wow.
12 years. Like, all you had to do is work 12 years and you couldn't be fired. And I will tell you, I can point to the people who were already in tenure. They were the most lazy people in the world and could care less. It's like they got into this blanket of, oh, I made it. Wow, I don't have to work. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. But you think that's the employee's problem, or is it the workers? Like,
Management.
You think management's problem that's creating that?
Yeah. Hold people accountable.
Sure.
Yeah, that's it. Have a standard, hold them accountable.
Right.
If you don't have a standard, okay, you don't hold them accountable. You have a standard and you don't hold them accountable.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah, kind of like you've been doing to me all show, hold me accountable.
Yeah.
And as a standard, I am going to end this one right here because that is all the time I'm giving to this episode before I say something else. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this. We hope you came back and watch another episode. We hope to see you in the future. We hope you go to pullthepinready.com and get involved, leave a comment. And until then, Godspeed.
And pull the pin.
Thanks for joining us here at Pull the Pin Already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin Already.